Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sandra, and today I am so thrilled to talk about I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue. A big thank you to William Morrow Books for the advanced reader copy. I Hope This Finds You Well is Natalie Sue's debut novel, and there were several things right off of the bat that appealed to me when I saw this title. So the first of which is the title itself, I Hope This Finds You Well. If you have ever worked in a large office environment, you have likely typed out those very words in an email. And if you're like me, a little piece of your soul died off each and every time that you had to fire off one of those emails. So I'm already vibing with a book just based off the title. And then secondly, the cover art. Judging the book by its cover, I'm a big lover of minimal modern kind of art. And so we have the quintessential office environment on the cover. There's the struggling office plant, there's the water cooler, and then somewhat subtly, it might be a little bit easy to miss, is behind the pod wall, there is an employee just completely laid flat out. The humor of this cover, I'm already digging the humor in the cover. And then third, Natalie Sue is a debut Canadian author, and she's of Iranian and British descent. I love having the opportunity to expand my reading experiences and to find new author voices that resonate with me. And lastly, I really enjoy the back cover blurb, and so I'll read off just a quick little part of it. But in this wildly funny and heartwarming office comedy, an admin worker accidentally gains access to her colleagues' private emails and DMs and decides to use this intel to save her job. A laugh till you cry debut novel you'll be eager to share with your entire list of contacts, perfect for fans of anxious people. I've also seen this book compared to, or at least the character work in the book, compared to something like Fleabag, which I'm not acquainted with personally, but in case that means anything to you, there it is. After reading this book, it was definitely reminiscent of something like The Office or Office Space, which I love both of those things. So again, right from the get-go, there were several things that appealed to me about this book. And to give you a little taste of the story and the humor that is in it, I will give you a quick spoiler-free synopsis. We have 30-something Jolene, who is the main character, and like the author, she is the daughter of immigrant parents, and she has been working at this company for several years unfulfilled, and she has zero friends in her personal life. She doesn't have any friends at work. She doesn't get along with any of them at work. And to her credit though, a lot of these people that she works with are people that I would have a problem with, and if you've worked in a big corporation, like in a cubicle jungle, you've probably interacted with people exactly like this. But anyway, one of her coping mechanisms for enduring this corporate hell is after she writes her nice, polished, overly professional email, below that she has another invisible message, like a secret message, where she communicates all of the ugly, honest things that she thinks about that person, and then to hide it, she makes the font white. And so this works until it doesn't, and she's caught. So she is called into a meeting with HR and put on an action plan, essentially. If she wants to keep her job, she has to complete these mandatory behavioral trainings. And then on top of these mandatory trainings, they put monitoring software on her computer so that all of her communications are going to be monitored from here on out. But there's a hiccup, and she somehow accidentally gains access, God level access, to the entire company's emails. Every individual person, department emails, inbox, sent folder, she gets all of that, and she instantly gets any chat DMs. And so she decides to use this newfound access to her advantage at work. And then it just kind of snowballs from there. And along with all of the office shenanigans, there is a lot of cultural nuance too with her family, and a lot of that kind of bleeds into the workplace too. And so I really enjoyed seeing that aspect of the book too. But this book was so funny. I think one of the things that people will like about this book, especially if you've worked in this kind of environment, is it's just so damn relatable. I found myself nodding along, and yep, I have experienced that exact same thing, or I have interacted with that exact kind of person. It's the kind of book that makes you feel seen and it makes you feel like you're not crazy for thinking these things when you find yourself sitting in a cubicle. And it's so good. The humor is at times like really absurd, especially some of the decisions that are made. So it almost strikes me as something kind of outrageous like Yellowface. Like it has kind of that satire kind of element to it, which I really enjoy. I found Jolene as a main character. She was really bold and impulsive, and yeah, she was flawed, but I just really liked her journey and the themes around loneliness and relationships and being able to communicate honestly to help build relationships. And also, this book had a love story in it. It is not a romance whatsoever, but there is like a love story thread in it, which I enjoyed too. That enhanced the story to me. Hi, editor Sandra here, popping on for a second. I just wanted to say, in addition to like the office shenanigans and the love story element, there were some really touching relationships depicted in the story. What comes to mind is a specific scene toward the end of the book between Jolene and another side character. The scene between these two actually made me tear up, and I wasn't expecting to feel that kind of emotion in this type of story, but it did hit me in the feels, so it definitely has the emotional depth along with the humor. Okay. And there was just a lot of things to love about the book. I ended up giving this book 4.25 stars, which I was blown away by the quality of the book and the storytelling for it being, especially for it being a debut. And I just feel like so many other people will get a kick out of this book and enjoy it too. So I will wrap this up by saying, I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue is very much worth the read. Let me know if you plan to pick this one up and tell me what you think. If you enjoyed this book review, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you made it to the end of this video, go ahead and drop me like an envelope emoji so that we're staying on theme here. And then thanks for tuning in. I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.